With the 2023 season finally in the books, it's time for another mock draft here on Patriots Today. I'm Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. This is our 7th mock draft here on the channel, and this one's going to be a wild one, a doozy. So just buckle up and stay tuned. We're going to get into it in just a moment. But first, in the month of January, Patriots Today, out of these 5 channels, was 4th at the company in shares. Let's get those numbers up in the month of February. Let's take down Dolphins Today, Giants Now, the Broncos Breakdown, and some other channels as well. And let me ask you this. Do you love Patriots Today? Do you enjoy this channel? If the answer is yes, well then spread the word. Help us out. Click the share icon right below this video on your phone, on your tablet, etc., and then tweet it out on X or publish it on X. Fire it away on Instagram if you want to. I think Snapchat is an option as well. You can text it to your buddy. Let's get the shares up. Spread the word. We're trying to get more eyeballs on this channel. All right, trade alert, Rolly, to kick off this mock draft. A lot of chatter around the Patriots trading the 3rd overall pick, and that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah, listen, I haven't been the biggest fan of the idea of trading back from number 3 just because I believe that taking one of the top quarterbacks would benefit this franchise the best. And if you really hated whatever quarterback fell to you at 3, just take the best wide receiver and best player in the draft in Marvin Harrison Jr. But this time, the Vikings came calling. I asked for a pretty penny, and I received it. I got number 11. I got a first-rounder next year. I got their second-rounder. I also got 2 fourth-round picks, 109 and 130 to be exact, in exchange for that 3rd overall pick. So you move back 8 spots. You get a bunch of draft capital to really try to reload this roster, as well as an extra first-round pick next year. I think this is the bare minimum for me, personally. Like, I need a haul to move back that money spots, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to move it outside the top 10, you either need a bunch of picks or you need some kind of player compensation as well. So the rumor has been, Rolly, A, they're considering a trade down, and B, they like these offensive tackles, so how about a combination of both? You trade down and get Olumuyiwa Fashanu, the Penn State tackle, who I think has fallen behind Joe Alt, but I would still argue the upside of this kid is higher than any other tackle in this draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an Olu guy for some time now. I was maybe a little overeager back in October or November, Harry, but I feel like you remember these conversations where I said he was the best player in the draft outside of the Caleb Williams, Drake May quarterback conversation.
He just didn't take that massive step this year. He didn't get worse, but if he improved as much from last year to this year as he did from 21 to 22, I think he'd be in that number 3, number 4 pick conversation after the quarterbacks, along with Marvin Harrison. But he still just had a really good year, which isn't bad. He's still a good player, but he took a much bigger leap between the prior 2 seasons that he did this year, whereas Joe Alt took this massive step, which is why more people are higher on him.
And I will say this, with the trade back down to 11, that is probably as risky as it would be of Olu not being there. I think he could go 9 to Chicago. He could go 10 to, I believe the Jets are picking 10 as well. So that Olu range is right around that 9, 10, 11 range. So he might not be there, but you do need to replace Trent Brown. I don't expect Trent to return to Foxborough. You have Andrews, you have Strange. I really want New England to re-sign Michael Wenu in free agency, but I don't think Trent Brown's going to happen. And to be honest, the way he ended his tenure this season in Foxborough rubbed me the wrong way. I'll let him walk. You'll need to replace him, whether it be in free agency or the draft. We do it through the draft here by trading down and taking Olumuyiwa Fashanu, who could really be a dynamic franchise left tackle if he checks out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know Olu has slid a bit, I guess, since coming into the college football season. But if you get him in this range, I think it's great value. I think at worst he's still going to be solid. At best, he could still be a Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber player, and that's huge for a team that needs an anchor on this offensive line. So, I'm still with you, Rolly. I would rather probably just stay at 3 and draft a quarterback, but their evaluations are their evaluations. If Elliott Wolf and Jerod Mayo don't love the 3rd QB, and if that's the one sitting there at 3, then maybe they go this route and build assets and get that tackle in there first. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Would you be okay with the Patriots trading down and drafting an offensive tackle? Go ahead and let us know. And then you get your quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., round 2, pick number 34. I did see a report on Tuesday from Jordan Schultz, who is connected to the Seattle area. That's where he's from. And he was told that Michael Penix, who didn't have a great on-field week, I don't think really any of the quarterbacks did at the Senior Bowl, but apparently he interviewed exceptionally well, which I think does matter in these evaluations. What also matters, Rolly, is his medical history, which is why he could fall to the second round, that along with him being a 6-year college player. But, man, when he's right, he throws a beautiful ball. I don't care that he's left-handed. He can challenge teams vertically. He's not scared to throw a ball into a tight window either, which you have to be able to have that in the NFL. He's got the tools. It's about the medicals more than anything else.
I mean, Harrison, I'm old enough to remember after the Texas game in the semifinal where people were saying, could Penix go in the top 10?
It's one of the better college performances from a quarterback I could remember in recent history.
He could absolutely sling the pill. And I think this is a very possible scenario for New England. There's a lot of buzz around it, and our good pal Mitch Lorenz says where's there smoke, there's fire. Well, I think it's very intriguing that a lot of people have said the Patriots could address quarterback in the free agent market. I'm not saying go sign Baker Mayfield, sign Kirk Cousins, but what I'm saying is that we could see a Jacoby Brissett. We can see a Gardner Minshew potentially hit the free agent market and then be that New England guy where they're a stop-gap quarterback. You draft Penix, you have him sit behind them. If they feel Penix is ready in year 1, they put him out there early on, or if he just wins the quarterback battle outright. I'm not saying that's what I want to do, and by no means am I saying that, but I think it's interesting that it's been rumored quite a bit here. So a Penix 34 overall mixed with a Jacoby Brissett in free agency, I think it could be in the cards for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, look, if New England's mindset is we need to just get more assets because we have a lot of holes to fill, then this isn't a bad avenue. Now, of course, the counter to that is there's no guarantee that Michael Penix is there at 34. But I think there's a chance he is. And, again, I think it's a fair question to ask. Would you rather have Penix at 34, Jaden Daniels at 3? I mean, I like Daniels better, but if you told me Penix was there at 34, I'm intrigued by that option. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, the Combine in a couple of weeks, I think, will dictate a lot how these quarterbacks interview and perform, and especially for Penix. The medicals are going to be vital. I mean, if his medicals check out, I think some teams will have first-round grades on him. If they don't, there might even be a few teams that have him in the undraftable category. I mean, it really could be all over the place across all 32 teams. So I hope for him it checks out because he's fun to watch. I mean, he really brought back that Washington program. So, and I think he could be an interesting fit in New England. Join the channel here on Patriots Today. We got the #1 spot for Patriots draft content here on YouTube. If you want more mock drafts, trade ideas involving the number 3 pick, which we're going to do, rumors, draft profile breakdowns. We got it all. YouTube.com/Patriots Today. Do not miss out. Okay, round 2, pick number 42, Chris Braswell, the edge out of Alabama. It's kind of an interesting edge class, Rolly. The Patriots' first-round picks don't really fall into the range of them. Now, if you trade down to 11, that could be kind of that range for that first crop. But there's a couple of guys in round 2, like a Chop Robinson, a Chris Braswell, that maybe New England could target.
Yeah, I would be a fan of taking one of these edges at this type of range rather than the first round. I'm not the biggest Leatu Latu guy. I'm also a little skeptical on Jared Verse. Dallas Turner also. I know he's good, but he doesn't move the needle, in my opinion.
What I like about Turner is at minimum you're getting a great run stopper.
Yeah, but I'll take the value on his teammate Chris Braswell in the second round here. And this is a lot of insurance because you do have to wonder if Anthony Jennings will return, Mac Wilson, Josh Uche. They're likely going to lose 1 or 2 of those guys potentially if they really focus on offense in free agency. So you can just replenish that edge group with an Alabama guy. Usually works out. I really like the idea of taking, especially in this idea where you have multiple second-round picks, take an edge. Why not? It would work out.
Yeah, certainly not opposed to that. You can never have enough pass rushers. Trade alert again, sitting at 58. We'll drop down to 68, add 136 as well with Tampa Bay. So move down 10 spots. move up 10 spots to give up 136.
Got to go get our guy,
Read that backwards. And hey, one of the fast risers in this draft, Roman Wilson, who was making plays all over the place in Mobile for the Senior Bowl during that practice week. It was pretty much Roman Wilson and Ladd McConkey. Those were like the top two dudes out there in terms of consistency.
Yeah, I mean, Roman Wilson just showed and flashed his route running, his twitchiness, his quickness at the Senior Bowl. He was dominating people in one-on-ones. He, like you mentioned, with Ladd McConkey, was the second best, if not the best wide receiver there, and he really rose his stock from a late date or third round, early fourth round guy to he's probably going to be late second, early third,
middle
potentially,
day two, probably, yeah.
Especially if he does well at the scouting combine in just a couple of weeks. He was the main man for that Michigan team that won the national championship on the outside, 12 touchdowns. He can play outside, he can play inside, he's got versatility, he's a good yak guy, he's speedy, and if he just continues to show his ability to make people miss and get open in man coverage situations, I think the Patriots should be willing to scoop him up. And like I said, I know it's a hypothetical, but you get 3 potential second-round picks with trading back and then trading back up, and you hit with Penix, Wilson, Braswell. I think it's a pretty good crew here to pair up with Olumuyiwa Fashanu in the first round.
You know who he reminds me of, Rolly? Not only, like, I'll throw a little player comp at you, but also just the journey he's had here I think is very similar, is Jayden Reed. Ironically, for one of Michigan's rivals, Michigan State, he was kind of viewed as like a fourth-round guy going into the Senior Bowl last year, just dominated, was one of the best players there, and ends up being like the 50th pick to the Packers and has this awesome rookie season. You look at both these guys, they're not intimidating, like stature-wise. You know, they're 5'11", 6 foot. You know, they're 190, 200 pounds. Like, they're not going to blow you away with their physical attributes, but they're just technicians, man. They're quick. They get open. They have just enough speed. I think there's some similarities there, and I think Roman Wilson, like Jayden Reed, really took advantage of the Senior Bowl and earned himself some money because he's improved his stock. There's no doubt about it. Before we get to the next pick here, we do have to tell you about our sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Maybe Roman Wilson will be running routes for the Patriots next year, and you can take more or less on yards in a specific game or for a season-long pick as well. That's how Prize Picks works. 2 to 6 player entries. You can cross over sports, NBA, college basketball right now going on, NHL as well. Pick a few players, some statistical options like points, rebounds, assists in basketball. Take the more or less, and if you hit on all of them, boom, you're cashing out. Check out Prize Picks today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS gets you a deposit match up to $100. You just choose more or less on those statistical projections. You're not playing pros. You're not playing sharks. It's you versus the stat projections. Link is in the comments and in the description. Check out Prize Picks right now for more opportunities to get started. Okay, Bucky Irving, who is one of my favorite running backs in this class, and he's pretty consistently like in this late third to late fourth range. Twitchy back out of Oregon. What I like about him, Rolly, is he catches the football pretty well also. I mean, you're not going to confuse him for Christian McCaffrey as a pass catcher, but 56 catches last year, and it's not just checkdowns. You can use him in the screen game, line him up, and have him run routes sometimes. He does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he can do it through the air. You do it through the ground. And listen, I got to be honest, that he's slotted in as, like you mentioned, fourth, third-round guy. That might creep up. I feel like he's going to be a combine warrior, Harrison. 40-yard dash, 3-cone drill. I think he's going to flash his speed. He's going to flash his athleticism, his quick, tangible movements. I think Bucky Irving will really up his draft stock this upcoming week or 2 weeks from now or whenever you're watching this video. I think Bucky would be a great fit in a change of pace back alongside Ramondre Stevenson, but I don't know if you're going to be able to wait till the fourth round on him. He feels like someone you might have to snatch up in the third or fourth round.
Yeah, there's a lot of backs in that range, like Trey Benson out of Florida State, Blake Corum out of Michigan. Does a Jonathan Brooks slide because of his injury? So it'll be interesting to see how those guys stack up at the combine because obviously running backs are a less valued position, so you really need a strong week there to kind of separate yourself. All right, some more picks here. Kalen King, the corner out of Penn State, he was highly regarded coming into this season. Didn't have a great season, but he's very talented. Like I think this is a guy like early day 3. If he's still on the board, it's like I'll gamble on the upside because he's got the capabilities.
He gives me a lot of Shaun Wade vibes where it's like, this guy's going to be a first-round pick.
He didn't fall off that bad.
Not that bad, but like in terms of this guy's going to be a first-round pick, had a bad final year. Yeah. Well, now he's a midday guy. But I like Kalen King. I think he could play outside, inside. With Jack Jones not being on the roster anymore, J.C. Jackson will be cut. That cornerback room could be kind of light between Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez, Jonathan Jones. You have Alex Austin coming in the wings, who's intriguing.
I think this guy could be like a CB4 as a rookie, and then maybe.
And that's exactly what the Patriots need.
Yeah, and then maybe down the road he's a starter. Like,
exactly.
That's what you're looking for in the fourth round.
That is exactly what you need, and be a perfect pick, in my opinion, for New England. Someone who has upside, can be developed, and be that 4th or 5th corner for the Patriots in 2024.
Get another receiver here, Javon Baker.
I'm all in, Harrison.
Out of UCF. Tell me about him, Rolly.
Javon Baker, going to slide underneath the radar, at least as of now. It might not last too much longer when people realize how talented this guy is. He originally went to Alabama for his first 2 years and then transferred to UCF and was a Knight over the past 2 years and just flat out was a deep threat machine for the Knights this past season. Yes, that is a real number. That is not fake. 21.9 yards per catch. For Baker, he could really stress the defense vertically. He's good at after the catch guy as well. I think it wouldn't hurt New England to take multiple multiple wide receivers in this draft. Just really try to stockpile the talent in that specific room. If Baker is there and they like the value, I would be all in because he can be that guy to potentially break off a big-time deal. He could play in the special teams game as well. I'm a big fan of Javon Baker, and PFF apparently is as well, because when I made this selection in their simulator, they always give out those shitty grades after the fact. They gave this 4th-round selection an A+, so Javon Baker is someone they like as well.
The way I look at day 3 of the NFL draft, Rolly, is a couple things. One, can he be a core special teamer? And or two, does this guy we're taking have at least one special potential trait? This guy has explosive speed. So, like, you get him in the 4th round, like, sure, he's not going to run the full route tree. I don't think anyone thinks he's developing into a number 1. But, like, if he's your 4th receiver and he runs 5 go routes a game and every other game he catches one, like, that's more than worthwhile. They kind of tried this with Tyquan Thornton in the 2nd round, which is an overdraft. We'll see if he, is still around next year. But I think this guy is a little more polished than him, and I don't think he's going to go as high as him. So I think the value will be much better. So I like it. Should be interesting to see where he ends up going. He could also be a guy at the Combine, Rolly, that just wows people.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Are you more excited for the draft or free agency? Because the Patriots have assets in both. A lot of cap space. They're also picking 3rd overall. D for draft, F for free agency. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Jaheim Bell, the tight end out of Florida State, sitting there in the 6th round. I think the value is pretty good here. He's a pretty good receiving threat, Rolly. I don't think he's going to block much, but got to be like an H-back, big slot type of guy. You can throw the ball to him in space. He'll make some things happen.
Yeah, and listen, when your entire tight end room is a free agent, like, you're going to have to probably draft someone
at least
to fill some of those roles, right? Like, Mike Gesicki is a free agent. Hunter Henry is. Pharaoh Brown. I think that it's likely the New England Patriots bring back one of them, but you're still going to have to either draft a tight end or sign multiple tight ends in free agency. I think one will absolutely be drafted. I think I've drafted Jaheim Bell in a prior mock draft on Patriots Today. I'm a fan of his size at 6'3", 240, and he's a receiving threat. If they could get him more of a blocker, use his size a little bit more in the run game potentially, Jaheim Bell could be a little nice find in the later rounds here for the Patriots.
Yeah, I think you look at this tight end situation. I'm with you. Bring back one of the guys. Probably sign someone else as well, and then maybe draft someone who can be like your number 2 tight end, something like that. I think that would be a way to kind of build that tight end room back up. And then round 7, Jordan McGee, linebacker out of Temple. Again, you're kind of just, hanging on to the rope here late in the draft. You're hoping you can find a special teamer, maybe a guy you want to just get not chance to get to undrafted free agency, someone you want to get your hands on first. Maybe he makes the team. Maybe he's on the practice squad. bring him in here, see what he could do.
I mean, it's dart season here late in the draft, and it's especially dart season before the combine when you're making some of these picks in the
no doubt
6th and 7th round. So I'm just kind of throwing names at the wall. If they stick, they stick. But McGee, he's a little productive at Temple, so that's also what you're looking for there because you know he can make some big-time plays.
All right, recapping this mock draft, since the rumors have been they could trade down, we'll go ahead and trade down here. Get Olumuyiwa Fashanu, number 11 overall in the first round. Michael Penix Jr. in round 2. You get an edge rusher, Chris Braswell, in the third round, or in the second round. Also in the second round, Roman Wilson, the Michigan wide receiver. Bucky Irving, the running back out of Oregon, in round 4. Kalen King in the 4th round as well, the corner out of Penn State. UCF wide receiver Javon Baker in the 4th. Jaheim Bell, the Florida State tight end, the 6th round, and then wrapping things up with Jordan McGee, the Temple linebacker, in round 7. So there you have it. Patriots mock draft 7.0 in the books. Give us a letter grade for this mock, A, B, C, D, or F. Pluses and minuses are welcomed and encouraged. Let us know what you guys think in terms of how we did. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. If you want more videos, subscribe. Also share this video on social media. Spread the word. And we'll see you next time.